if you have ever been to Disney's Hollywood Studios, you have likely, at one time or another, seen the Indiana Jones epic stunt spectacular. Now, the show combines heart-pounding heroics with action-packed thrills, and two cast members who helped bring two of the show's iconic characters to life more than 3 decades ago got a very special red carpet treatment in Hollywood. Our In the Loop theme park scoops writer and producer Landon McReynolds talked with them about how it all got started. Take a look.
So let's start things off like at the very beginning.
So we're going to go that far back. Well, I'm from San Diego. I'm the last of 7 kids. And my mom and dad both, at some points in my life, made 2 very strong impacts. My mom was the first one who took me to my first movie, which was The Sound of Music, which gave me the love of music that I have. And then my dad took me to Indiana Jones and gave me the love of Indiana Jones. And I had that ever since I saw the movie the first time. Then in 1987, I had been working out in California at a different theme park. And I auditioned for Disney and actually got the role for the Hoop-de-Doo. And they brought me out from California. And I did that for 2 years. And then at the end of my 2 years, I was called by casting to audition for an action character named Jack. And I didn't know anything about it, except that it was a huge secret that was being kept. And I auditioned, and then I didn't think anything about it. I thought I had a good audition, but I never heard anything. And then 3 months later, I got another call from casting asking if I'd like to be Indiana Jones. And I said, I never auditioned for that. And they said, yes, you did. You just didn't know it. It was great. And then from that point on, well, Michelle came in 6 months after me.
Right.
And we were still at the warehouses learning how to be stunt men and women. We were being taught by the best in the business. This is something that I don't know if this happens anymore in our world.
Probably
where
not.
You are paid to become a stuntman or a stunt woman, and you are being taught by the best in the business. We were taught by Glenn Randall, Larry Holt, Bob Yerkes, who were at that time the foremost in the stunt world.
Right, he's correct. It's kind of, I don't think it would ever happen anymore. Yeah, we were very lucky. My background is a little different from Kevin, because I'm born and raised here in Orlando, Florida. Love being here. I'm a Floridian and had a gymnastics background, went to college on a scholarship, and then came back home. I didn't even know anything about the show. And I did some dancing stuff on the side, and I can dancer. And then one of the tumblers I was working with, he said, oh my gosh, you would be a great Marion. You're so physical and this and that. And I'm like, yeah. And so he got me into that audition, which was that first year with Kevin, same time when he was here. And I hadn't even seen the show. So I had nothing, I had no clue of what I was getting into, but it was 100% the best thing for me and my career. And that he's right, we got taught by Glenn Randall Jr., one of the best. So we got to learn and train from amazing, amazing people. And then it was only helped us going on in our career that we're still doing stuff.
And not just stunt people as well, but they also brought in Barbara Epstein, who was an acting coach, and helped us really hone in on trying to find, like, for indies, those indieisms, or for Marion, those
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it was amazing.
It's just such a wonderful time in our lives.
And blessed that we both were able to be there at that time.
And I gotta say, I haven't worked in 34 years.
Yeah.
I've played. And I have had the best time of my life.
You know, we get to come to work and play and have fun and do these great shows for all these people that are watching out, and they love it and love Indiana Jones. And it's just awesome. Seriously, it really is.
So did you guys start when the show first opened, correct?
Kevin did. The first, and I was 6 months later. So I started in 1989 when it opened, but I was 6 months later. He was the original. Yeah.
So Kevin, can you explain to me, like, what was that opening day like?
Well, that was another just crazy, wonderful time, because the hype of the park. Remember, the park actually opened before our show. So for the longest time, our show was kind of a goldfish bowl where we would be rehearsing during the day. Guests would be coming in.
They could watch. The guests would come to watch.
They would be told, you know, this is the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular. It's not quite finished yet, so you're just watching a rehearsal.
Right.
And they actually loved sitting in the audience and watching those rehearsals because things would change left and right.
Because they were figuring it out, you know, figuring out the show.
We were just finalizing our script and our stunts, and but that opening day was so it was just filled with magic. George Lucas, Michael Eisner, they were both there. We did scene 1, and George Lucas and Michael Eisner came out after I got run over by the boulder. They were the two that were coming out to see if I was okay. It was amazing. It was amazing.
That is so cool. I love that.
So, and then Michelle, when you started, it was like same day, like those jitters to get you.
Oh my goodness. Of course, the jitters. Sometimes they're still there already.
Let me ask you, have you ever performed in front of that big of a crowd?
No.
2,000.
Yeah, I had never performed, yeah, you're right, in front of that. Jitters, yes. I feel like maybe I could feel the feeling that you had was we had our 30-year anniversary, Disney, or Indiana Jones at the show, at the studios, and that feeling of just, I can't explain it. And we had like how many people, cast members that came and watched, and
so for the 30th anniversary, Disney invited anyone who had anything to do with our show, which was only 4 years ago. That they could come and be in the audience.
Oh my gosh.
To watch our daily operations. The last show was going to be filled with audience members who had
been in the show.
Technicians, stage manager, anything that they had to do with our show, they were in the audience if they wanted to be there.
Right.
And that day was pretty spectacular.
Pretty spectacular. And I have to say, even also coming back from COVID, spectacular that moment, that time when we first came back after COVID, because everybody's been waiting for us to come back, and so that was pretty spectacular also.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't know if we were coming back.
Yeah.
What were some of the challenges that you guys have seen over the years? I mean, I've seen that show several times, and like there's always, I mean, it is so complex. I mean, there's set pieces coming out of the floor, there's boulders rolling down, the set pieces themselves come apart.
He's probably seen us many times in the show. You've probably seen us a few times.
Probably, yeah. But like, are there any big challenges that you guys face, like day by day, or maybe like just in the beginning when you guys first started? Did you see any challenges? How's the show? So like, I'm sure the show has evolved over the years.
It has, but I will also tell you that it usually goes back to what Glenn Randall Jr. originally said.
Right.
You know, we have had show directors who come in and they want to tweak it just a little bit and, you know, put their thumbprint on it, right? But 9 times out of 10, the show goes back to what Glenn Randall wanted. And I think that is why our show is so successful. But I think that I will tell you the same thing I tell the indies that I'm training when they come in to learn our show, that one of their biggest challenges, besides the physical challenge of our show,
100% physical.
Because if you just rely on our show to keep you physical, it's not going to happen. You've got to work out outside of our show and make those workouts harder than our show. So that's one of the challenges. And then the other one is to keep it fresh.
Yeah.
Because
100%, yeah.
You're doing this day in and day out. And for me, I never wanted someone who was sitting in the audience to ever think that I was marking my show. You know what I mean?
Right.
That I was just like going through the punchies and going, okay, I got to get eggs and milk and butter when I get home. These people who come to see our show, who visit our parks, some of them have saved their whole lives to come and see great entertainment. And I think
he's completely right. That's
our entire cast feels the same way, that we just want to bring great entertainment to these people.
You got to make it fresh. You got to think that this is your first time doing it, they've come, like they've saved so much money, and they're just or they love our show and are coming back and back. We have a lot of fans that keep coming back.
Okay.
So,
Shall we tell one of our favorite stories? Some of our favorite stories, like we have had people who came and saw the show. Let me just put this out there. There was a girl who came and saw the show when she was 5, and she loved the show, and that's all she thought about. And then she was a little older, and this is when we had guests still in the show, and she was a little older, and she turned 18, and she could be an extra in our show. So she came back, she saw the show again, she wanted to be an extra in the show, and she was. And then I was the indie. And by the way, I was the indie when she came and saw it when she was 5. And now she's 18, and I'm still the indie. And she had a crush on me, and I didn't know that. It was just kind of funny. And then she went one step further, and she got a little older, and she came back. I think she was 21, maybe 22. I'm not sure on the age. And she auditioned for the role of Marion. This was her lifelong dream. And she got the part, and she showed up the first day of training, and I came out on stage, and she said her knees buckled. That's crazy.
it is.
That's just one. There have been so many people
Oh my God.
who watched our show when they were kids, and that was their lifelong ambition.
So many pictures. I have pictures of like I'm holding a little baby, and then next thing you know, they're 18, or I'm right next to them, and they brought the picture and showed me. I'm like, yeah, that's me. That's me. So I'm still here.
Okay, tell
Yes.
Landon about your own kids.
Oh, and yes, and I am working with my 2 kids. I have twin boys that are 26 years old. And now I get to beat them up every day at work, and I get paid for it. It's pretty cool.
They're in the
we
show.
we definitely are
But let's make them up. You don't beat them up.
No,
You
I-
pretend. to be-
Thank you for
You're
telling.
welcome.
Yes, I'm sorry. It's all make believe, and it truly is. I'm not hitting them. I swear.
They don't need child services.
Yes.
fee.
No. Yeah, no physical no. Yeah, but anyhow, at least they don't make their bed. No.
And you know what? I'm going to go one step further. We also have talking about the legacy of our show, because not only Michelle's children are in it, but there was an indie who has gone on to star in major motion pictures, who is in all of Marvel, and he's
a stunt double.
famous stunt man himself.
And now his son
And his son
is working here.
the indie.
Yep.
And it was fantastic. He got the role, and he now performs as indie in our show.
Yeah. It's crazy. So it's definitely a family affair. I mean, Kevin's the godfather to my kids, and weddings, baby. We've had it all here. But that's why it's just so special. I'm being honest with you. This show is very, very special because it really wasn't supposed to be open for this long. It's supposed to open only for 5 years, and now we're going into 34. And look at that. And look at our careers and our lives. It's changed us, and we love it. I love working here. Yeah.
Like I said, we haven't worked.
Yeah.
We played.
So, I mean, you set it up perfectly. I mean, you do this show, and now you've got these incredible opportunities here. I mean, you guys just went to the world premiere. So we have to talk about, I mean, what was that experience like for you?
So just real quick, it's crazy. I was asked to do the role of the director that day when I came into work. I didn't know why, but they wanted me in the director outfit. And so great. I finished the 3rd show, and my proprietor is coming on stage, and she's like, go get back on stage. And I didn't know why. And so I just went back on stage, and then I saw Rayvon come around the corner, and then I saw these phone cameras come around the corner.
None of us knew anything about it. They didn't tell any of us. And we all were like, what is happening here? What is happening?
That's when he divulged
yeah.
that I was being sent out by Disney for the Hollywood premiere of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I was going to not only get to see the movie, but to bring someone and then be on the red carpet and experience all of that. And
I was screaming. I was like,
Michelle was more excited, I think, than I was. But I had a bottle of Powerade in my hand. I dropped it, I think.
Yeah.
And it was crazy.
It was crazy.
And then my plus one, of course, was going to be my wife, but my wife could not go. So, and I have 3 children, and I wasn't about to put them through that, of, well, how come there's no favorite?
That's
You
right,
know?
that's right, no
So
favorite, yeah.
my wife suggested that my
I
Marion,
know, I love that,
30
Jennifer was so
years.
sweet, I know.
She should be the one that gets to go. And it made perfect sense that Michelle was with me on the red carpet. And meeting Harrison Ford, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
that
Just
was just incredible. It was,
right up there with the birth of my children.
it was incredible. He was so nice and just
He was so
was
generous with his time.
genuine. He was nice, and it was just really, really, he was grateful. Like, I mean, literally, like, thank you. I loved it.
And I know that he was probably prepped, but he knew who we were.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing that someone of his stature, someone who is as famous as he is, gave us so much of his time. We thought that, he was done and he was going to be moving on. And he goes, well, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Don't you guys want a picture or something?
Yeah, it was so sweet.
Oh, yeah, we'd love that.
Yeah. It was incredible. It really was. It was unbelievable. Yeah.
So the red carpet was great. I guess the movie was great.
The movie was great.
It was amazing.
Love it. It has just a ton of, like we were saying, Indie-isms that you just, the action nonstop, which we love that. And just all the little funny things. It was great. Loved it.
They brought back a lot of what was in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, I felt that way too.
I can tell you this without spoiling any of the movie. Like when Indy travels from one place to another. Do you remember in Raiders, they would have the plane and then the red line going across the map? I know it's silly, but I love that so much. And that's back in the movie.
Yeah.
So
it was great.
So I guess my last question is, what are you most excited about seeing the show for the future?
Our show has gone on for 34 years, and I know that all good things have to come to an end at some point, but I truly wish that this show just goes on for another 34 years.
It seems like it's, Raiders Lost Ark is a classic. And, we have all these kids and families that come. And now the adults, they've seen it when they were a kid. Now they're bringing their kids. So it's like this whole new generation of these people that want to see it and still love it. So I think it still can continue. And I think Kevin and I have been as best as we can using our experience with stunts, acting, everything to train these new people coming up. Like I said, my children, my kids are in there. They're not kids, they're adults, but anyhow, but training them up to be safe, how to keep it fresh, how we tell them and give them everything that our knowledge that we have went through, because we've already had maybe the mistakes or this and that. We have the knowledge to help them to make it look incredible and keep it going, right?
Yep.
So I mean, I say we just keep it going for the next generations and keep going. Yeah.
Plus, I have in my will that when I die, I want to be placed on the Mayan temple so that my skeleton is out there. I'm just kidding.
I want to thank you guys for joining me here. You guys
Thank
are
you,
really
Landon.
awesome, and I'm really excited you guys got to have this opportunity. So let's see.
Who are we? Thank you, Disney.
Thank you so much.
Disney, and thank you, Landon.
So much.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Maybe I can do some stunt performing too. Landon tells us Kevin and Michelle both still work at the show. And don't forget, you can sign up for our In the Loop Theme Park Scoops newsletter. It goes out every Friday. Just head to clickorlando.com/newsletters.